Welcome back. Yesterday, August 13, 2020, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Israel put out a joint statement outlining the path towards a normalization of relationships between the UAE and Israel. This could be huge for the geopolitical region over there. It could change everything. Prior to this, the UAE didn't even officially acknowledge the existence of Israel. Now, they're normalizing relations. Is it a good thing? I think so. We're going to get into what's in the deal, why it was struck when it was struck, and what happens now. Let's get into it. So what's in the deal? What was exchanged? What was the quid pro quo?
A quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo.
Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has agreed to suspend annexing territory from the West Bank that he was planning on annexing. In exchange, the UAE has agreed to open relations with Israel, and they're going to have diplomatic relations. This is a great deal for both parties. For Israel, well, technically, even though they want to annex that land, they technically control it already. So, suspending annexing land that you already technically control in exchange for relations with an Arab state is a wonderful deal. And in order to see why this is a good deal for the UAE, we got to look into why it was struck now. So why now? Well, actually, it's thanks to Obama. Obama made this happen. You see, Obama's Iran nuclear deal was so atrocious that Arab countries in that region started noticing, hey, maybe the real threat here is not Israel, it's Iran. Which is why now we see the UAE and Israel becoming potential military allies. And there are more to follow. Check this out. The United States, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates are confident that additional diplomatic breakthroughs with other nations are possible and will work together to achieve this goal. So what now? Israel and the UAE are going to move forward with fully diplomatic relations. They're going to exchange diplomats, they're going to exchange embassies, they're going to have direct flights to each other, which is great for the Muslims because now they can travel to Jerusalem to pray.
One of the biggest excuses that extremists use to radicalize the next generation is the mosque and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and saying that it's being threatened and the fact that Muslims aren't able to pray there. This deal will allow for flights from Dubai and Abu Dhabi to Tel Aviv, which will allow Muslims a real entree to come and visit Israel peacefully and to come and pray at the mosque with whatever frequency they deem appropriate.
Will we see a military alliance? Maybe that's too much to hope for, but hey, maybe it happens. And maybe the Saudis will join in because, as we all know, the Saudi Arabia and Iran are bitter enemies. The Saudis being Sunni Muslims and the Iranians being Shia. And hopefully, Egypt and Jordan are going to join in the love party as well. And they're going to all band together against Iran and change the geopolitics of that region forever. Trump has said, I don't know if it's true, but it's what he said, that the Iranians are dying to make a deal. But they're holding on to the election because they actually want to make a deal with Joe Biden instead of Trump. Trump said that the Iranians are dying to make a deal but would prefer that it would be Joe Biden because that would be like a dream. Now, I want to show you something. This was the reaction of an SJW when Trump was elected.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps away.
Can you imagine the reaction if Trump gets a Nobel Peace Prize? National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien has suggested this exact thing.
It's really remarkable, I think, when you step back and take a look at what this president has done on the peace front. And it wouldn't surprise me. It'll take some time in this environment, but it wouldn't surprise me if the president's eventually nominated for a Nobel Prize. For today's work is an example of why he would be rightly considered and should be a front runner for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Do I think he deserves it? Meh. Not really. We're going to wait and see the ramifications of this deal. But when I look at what other previous presidents have gotten Nobel Peace Prizes for, particularly Obama, I say, maybe Trump can get one. In 2009, Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to President Barack Obama for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen the international diplomacy and cooperation between people. The deal that we saw yesterday goes far and beyond strengthening international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. Like far and beyond. An Arab state and a Jewish state. Far and beyond. So if that's the criteria, Trump deserves one too. But let's look a little deeper into this guy that got a Nobel Peace Prize, Mr. Barack Obama. Now let's show some respect. President Barack Obama. President Barack Obama authorized 542 drone strikes, killing around 3,800 people and 325 civilians, and 3 Americans, which is super illegal. But that guy got a Nobel Peace Prize. The left has criticized calling the deal historic, and they have a good point. They say that the deal depends on Benjamin Netanyahu suspending the annexation of the land of the West Bank. This suspension could be anywhere from a long time to a short time, according to Jerry Kushner, which is a horrible answer to give.
So how long is temporary? Because you said it could be a long time. And did you get guarantees that they will adhere to that?
Somewhere between a long time and a short time. That's what temporary means.
But that's important.
It all depends on that. So maybe the suspension should be permanent. You should give a reasonable timeline. However, even if it falls short, I think we could call the deal historic, because it sets a precedent between an agreement between a Gulf state, Gulf Arab state, and Israel. And these relations might just change the geopolitics of the entire region, leaving Iran behind, which is something we all want. Do you think this is a good deal? Will it last? Will President Trump get a Nobel Peace Prize? Comment down below. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.